Hi, people. Shall we start? Very welcome to this session on the AID Information Data Analytics platform. It's powered by the Open Data Company and a joint venture of two Dutch companies. My name is Maaike Blom. I'm the CEO of the Open Data Company. Very welcome. Thanks for your interest in our product. So what are we about? Our vision is to help international development organizations to use and analyze their data in an easier way. And we want to provide online data services to enable them to become more data-driven. In order to do this, we use the so-called IATI standard, which is the International Aid Transparency Initiative. It's a data standard that enables people to publish their data in a similar way, so also the data can be harmonized and in that sense visualized. And yeah, we've done quite a lot of work with governments and the standard itself, and also UN organizations. For this particular platform that I'm about to show you right now, we've used all the available data as published according to this standard. So, in very briefly taking you along, if there's any questions, please raise your hand and I'll be willing, of course, to answer them. So in this global Open Aid standard, there's about 1,300 publishers from all around the world. It can also be used as a way to keep track of the Sustainable Development Goals or of joint humanitarian actions. And it's also a key data source for all kinds of Open Aid data portals in the world. So what does IATI help with? It standardizes data. It can enable organizations to perform data-driven. And also it can be a driving force to increase the data quality because you can compare yourself with others. Also the same XML data can be used on the websites of organizations to communicate on their results. And of course, it can be combined in different overviews of who is doing what, and that enables coordination, particularly when there is emergency, for example. So what do we do as the Open Data Company? On our platform, it's possible to produce this XML IATI. There is validation integrated, so you can also check on the data quality. And the main purpose of the platform is to explore and use the richness of this data. So let us now look into this particular platform, AIDA platform. The link is in the presentation. I hope the presentations will be shared later as well. So what can you see? It starts with the world map. There's different filters that can be used. You can see all the organizations that publish. You can select a period. You can select a particular status of an activity. Is it finalized? Is it implementation? This total outgoing commitment is all the aid money that is in the IATI data that is tagged as outgoing commitment. So I'm committed to spend this money. The average currency is the US dollar that is used. So now I've actually here, I took you the advantage of selecting Global Affairs Canada, which is probably an organization that you are familiar with. If you then press apply, you will see all the projects that are related to Global Affairs Canada. So now it's filtered only on those activities published by Global Affairs Canada, and also filtered on Mali as a country. So over the course of time, from 2001 to 2027 actually, so there's also some committed money already for the future. You can see the total number of activities of Global Affairs Canada. So there's one publisher, which I filtered out. And there's, since Global Affairs Canada is a donor themselves, it doesn't say donors because they are the distributor of the money. And there's different sectors that these activities are active in, and there's 82 organizations involved in relation to only the country of Mali. So if you click further on this, these are then, so this is the same amount of money, the same publishers still, the same 253 activities. There's 107 sectors in Mali that Global Affairs Canada has committed money to. And you can see the overview here. On the actual data platform, this is interactive. So when you hover over it, it will show you what is underneath. I couldn't show the actual platform because the Hopin platform wouldn't allow me to. So that's why I put them in slides. But I'm really inviting you to go to the platform and explore it yourself. So there's quite a lot on the green. The green is the productive sectors. There's quite a lot on humanitarian aid. It's this bit. There's a lot on health in Mali that Global Affairs Canada has financed. So this gives you an easy overview. The reason why this amount is lower than the total is because this is the, it filters now on the high over indicated sectors, while there's also these subsectors. So altogether, it's still the 5.4, but now it only shows the high over ones which are here. And also sometimes for some activities, the data publishers have not indicated the sector. So that can also be the reason why it's not completely the same amount. Are there any questions so far?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. So what is also possible to zoom into on this platform is to look particularly on the type of organizations. So first you'll get in the IATI data, they're also specified as in organization type. So there's money going to support government institutions in Mali. There's money going to national NGOs, multilateral organizations, often those are the United Nations organizations. And there's some other categories down here. The size of this little block also represents the amount. So a lot of money you can see immediately is going to government institutions, and the blocks actually become smaller. The smallest block then represents the private sector, in fact. I've also, this is not from Global Affairs Canada, because this example, Global Affairs Canada doesn't use the IATI standard to produce their performance data. This is an example of another organization, just to show you that when an organization also includes performance data in their IATI data set, with AIDA, it's possible on the activity detail page to filter this out. So you can also look at the results type, so it can be impact, outcome, output. And there will be different colors attached to it. The more the target has been completed, the darker the green. So in this case, for outcome 2, you can see here that they had a target of 8 and they fulfilled their whole target of participating in certain networks. And they've also added some description of the longer description of this whole result that they're working on. So it's training, capacity enhancement delivered to relevant government and stakeholder platforms. A baseline is added. Well, and there's also a possibility to add comments, but they haven't done that. So this way you can also get some information on the performance in relation to the results of that particular project. Also on the activity detail page of this open AIDA platform, there is the possibility to a visualization of the budget flows. This again is not Global Affairs Canada, but in fact the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, and it's their operation in Zambia. So here you can see there's actually various donors contributing to this particular activity. And the publisher organization is the United Nations organization. So this is also a way to highlight how the budget goes from a variety of donors to a specific activity in a country published by a big UN organization. I have a little, oh yeah, this one I need to introduce briefly because we've also made a little video. It only takes about 1.5 minutes on how potentially the SDGs could be visualized on our AIDA platform. I think that's also an interesting case to show you. It is a prototype, so it's not yet active on the actual platform when you will be starting to look around, but it's more of a way to inspire you so you can see what kind of information can be visualized using the potential of IATI. And we also have a video of a demo of the platform in the video corner of this conference. So you can look at the total video to get a bit more of an idea. And after this little video on the SDGs, I'm really open and looking forward to hear some of your questions that you might have. So I really encourage you to ask questions. It can be in the chat. Marianne will read it for me, and then I can answer your questions. But let us look at the video first. If I produce the next slide, it will start the video. I should start it.
This prototype is designed to demonstrate how we can use IATI data to track progress on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. On this overview page, we can see disbursements, commitments, targets, organizations, and projects, as well as funding over time for each of the goals. If we want to find out more about a single goal, such as quality education, we can see an overview here. We can see the targets and indicators of the goal, as well as how much money is going to each of the targets, based on the size of the circle. Here we can also see the results. So we get an overview of whether we are on track to meet the target by 2030, as well as the individual projects and their achievement rates. Under investment, we can see how much funding is going to go for. Here we can see the aggregations as well as the funding over time by different organizations. The aggregations can be made by organizations as well as targets and locations.
I think, Michael, there is an
If we
issue
want to
with
find
the
out more
sound.
about what government is doing in terms of quality education, we can find individual organizations here. Furthermore, if we want to find out more about a single organization, for example, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Finland, we can see their entire development portfolio here, where again, we have an overview of the Sustainable Development Goals, but this time only related to funding given by the Finnish government. This platform would allow anyone to quickly get an overview of how we are progressing on the Sustainable Development Goals in terms of results and investment, all the way from high-level overviews to individual goals, publishers, and projects.
Micah, I think you need to unmute yourself first. Micah?
Yes, sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Can I speak now? Okay. Is there a question? Can you hear me? Okay. Let me just finish the video and then go back to. Hello, is there a question?
Mike, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yes, okay. I don't hear you. It's weird. But we have a question from Rachel Wilson. She's asking if you have any case studies of how people have used the data for campaigning, for example.
Yeah. Do you hear me now? Is it working?
Apparently everyone can hear you, but I'm the only one to not be able to hear you. So
Oh,
that's
okay. Yeah, good. Sorry for my young, but
okay.
I'll
People
try
are hearing
to
you
answer.
and hearing me
Okay.
as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, so the IATI data can be used for different purposes, of course. If I have a case study on particularly campaigning, yeah, it has been used on websites of organizations. And of course, you can also keep track of the progress of certain funding streams. And in that sense, you could also use that data for lobbying purposes or for other, influencing or informing people on where the money is going. For example, you could see if how much money goes into a specific sector in a specific country. That is interesting information to show to the particular ministry, for example, education. So that is how this data can be used. Yes. Any other questions?
For now, no.
Okay.
Did we answer your question, Rachel? Kind
of. Okay. Well,
Do you-
maybe try it again. Can we invite someone to so we actually talk to each other instead of?
Yeah, maybe if you want, Rachel, you can unmute yourself, and if you don't want to put the camera, but just unmute yourself.
Oh,
I
you
don't
just
want to
don't want to unmute. Okay.
Okay.
To hear of real tangible effects, campaigning being just one. Yeah, I think the overview, the fact that people have an overview of how the money flows already helps in negotiating and it's not, I mean, we do the visualization, we don't do the lobby ourselves. So in that sense, I'm not the owner of the data. I'm the owner of how this data can be visualized. So yeah, maybe it's not I'm not the right person to ask the question to. Any other questions? Thank you, Rachel. Okay.
Maybe someone interested to, I don't know, look at a country or an institution, maybe the specific data.
Yeah. So what some of the data I showed is actually of Global Affairs Canada. So I did select your main aid institution, your government development aid institution. Of course, there's more information to be found in this database. Thank you. It's great. Well, yeah, so I would really like to invite you all to look around and see what kind of information can be found. And of course, with that information, you can challenge the institution that has published the information to ask them questions. So this is what they put in in an open data database. So it's out there for anyone to start searching, filtering, using, and asking questions to the publishing entities. So that's the idea of what we try to provide with this platform. It can be researchers using the data, it can be journalists, it can be NGOs themselves or the beneficiaries in particular countries. I mean, anyone who is interested in aid or professionally working in international development aid could have a potential interest in accessing the richness of this data. It actually compiles more than 1,300 organizations and over 50,000 activities over the years. So it also has some historical data. So the richness is should be quite interesting. Yeah, I think then I'll leave it at that. I'm really hoping that people will also, it's also possible to share the slide deck that I had prepared for this particular summit, or maybe Marianne, you can also share the SDG video, the specific one.
Yes.
So we have some material for you to re-look at it, and please also join the platform, join the search for aid funding, and I really hope you have enjoyed the session for now.
I will just put the link in the chat.
Yeah. I can also share a link with you on that is of the slide deck. Okay, done. Copy link. Yeah. So we're planning to to make this platform to enrich it a lot with all kinds of specific new features like the SDG part. But of course, this is the link to the slide deck. You should be able to. Have you shared the link to the SDG? Yeah. So that's the video link for the specific SDG stuff. We're also in the expo with a little video of the Open Data Company. So for the time being, we mostly focus on aid data, open aid data, but in the future, we're also hoping to combine open aid related data with other open aid and with other open data sources like of the World Health Organization or geodata from some satellites that is freely accessible to enrich the combination of perspectives that you could look at the different countries and the interventions taking place on the ground. Okay. Thanks a lot. I wish you a nice continuation of the session of this summit. And I would also like to thank again the organizers. Yeah, I see now there's who's actually in the session. Yeah. And see you soon. Bye-bye.